Again, so what we're seeing here, this is a typical pahoehoe type lava flow. Pahoehoe lava flows are very, very hot, they're very fluid, kind of runny, and they've got this really bright glow to them. So this is something called Pele's hair. Pele's hair are these very thin filaments of lava. And they do get formed in nature, but this is something that happens when lava goes off of an edge and then picked up by the wind. That's how it can get blown into a thin strand like that. The hairs are named for the Hawaiian goddess of volcanoes. So her name is Pele. Except in Iceland, there is no such thing as a goddess that's called Pele. So in Icelandic, these were called witches' hairs or Nornahau. And as we can see, these hairs do cool down very quickly. They're going to go from orange to black in just a couple of seconds. Because of how thin these hairs are, that does make them rare and fairly difficult to find in nature. Just because around an erupting volcano, something that's this small, it tends to get destroyed immediately out there. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a second block of ice that I have. And this one's going to go on top of the lava. Right down here. So as you can see, we do get a bit of a different effect with the second ice block. Because if you look at the surface of the lava isn't moving. The top layer begins to solidify very fast. So then when I put the block of ice on top of it, it does turn to steam, we can see that, but the steam is also getting trapped in the lava. So as the trapped steam tries to rise and get up and out, it kind of inflates the lava up a little bit like a balloon. We're going to end up with some larger bubbles and kind of an inflated lava. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to pull this up and over. So once the lava creates that solid outside, actually the middle is going to still be quite pliable. It's going to be quite flexible still. And also I'm going to get underneath here and gently pull this part up as well. So what that top layer has done is create insulation. So even though the top is solid, underneath is still incredibly hot because it's all been protected. You can see when I lift up, that all just pours out. Nice gooey lava. So when it's yellow like this, we're looking at lava that's the same temperature as when it came out of the furnace. It's lost virtually no heat at all. But as soon as it's exposed out to the open air, it is going to solidify. So we can see we have a different texture with it. It's a little bit more sticky and it's a little bit more gooey. Because solidifying lava, it goes through stages. It doesn't go straight from liquid right into solid. It has this middle phase where it has properties of both at the same time. So we can see part of it's solid, it's crunchy, but we can still see a little bit of drip and movement and flexibility with it. So there's kind of its liquid properties. I'll go back here, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start to lift up. So back here, we're going to have something different, because this time it's not going to fall out. Now it's kind of, that bottom has also created kind of a solid bit. So I'm going to be able to bend, manipulate. We're still gooey on the inside, but now it's not enough to kind of let it fall out. We kind of get this tube instead. And then, gonna let it go. And we're gonna let this solidify here. It's gonna hold the shape too. Now this process of how the lava becomes solid on the outside so that underneath the middle can stay liquid, this is the process in nature that causes lava tunnels to get formed. So in nature, we have a couple different kinds of eruptions. We have effusive eruptions and explosive eruptions. Explosive eruptions is in the name, they explode, but it's also the more dangerous and more violent type of eruption. So effusive eruption is the opposite of it. Effusive eruptions are nicer, they're more gentle. As gentle as a volcano is going to get. So with an effusive type eruption, what can happen is a river of lava will form, just like here in the channel. This river of lava forms, it pours out of the crater, and it flows and burns its way through the landscape. Over time though, even something as hot as a lava river, it does cool down and it does solidify. But it solidifies only on the outside. Once that insulation is created, inside is so hot and so protected, it can't cool down. It's going to stay hot, liquid, and it's going to flow for a longer period of time. Until the volcano stops erupting, that is. Eventually, all volcanoes are going to stop. So when that happens, all the liquid lava that's flowing inside of this insulation is going to flow and drain itself out. So that what gets left behind is that solid layer itself. And that's what a lava tunnel is. It's the hollowed out insulation that got left behind. So now I'm going to grab my temperature reader. We're going to get an update of where lava's at. When it came into the room, lava was 1,100 degrees Celsius or 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Where I put that ice, that is going to be the coldest part of it now. So where I put the ice has dropped to a very chilly, and that's actually pretty low, I would say, 498 degrees Celsius, 928 degrees Fahrenheit, not so bad. We're going to come up here. We're going to be a little bit hotter back there, 677 degrees Celsius, 1,250 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm going to go, see if I get here. So up there was the brightest, so I expected it to be the hottest, and I would be correct. 748 degrees Celsius on that part, 1,378 degrees Fahrenheit. So here I have a small piece of paper. That's going to go on the lava. How about right in the hottest part, over 700 degrees? I'm going to go here. And it is going to catch on fire. And that's what I call our homemade lava lamp. Ha-ha. Thanks. All right, so listen. This cracking sound, this noise we have. It's kind of nice. What this sound is, this is the sound of our lava becoming solid and cooling down. Because as lava solidifies, what it's doing is shrinking. As the lava shrinks, it also has to contract. That's what the sound is. Cooling, contraction, shrinking of lava as it becomes more and more of a solid. But we're going to hear a different sound. So that one was a little bit more distinct. What does that sound like when the lava breaks?
Glass.
Correct. Because that's what we now have. Except this is not regular glass. It's volcanic glass. And volcanic glass is different. But I'm going to turn on the lights just a tiny little bit so I can get some of the lights, so you can see it shine a little bit better here. Now, volcanic glass, this is what happens when lava gets cooled down really, really fast. And so fast that there's no time for crystals to grow in it. And that's just the definition of volcanic glass, lava with no crystallization. What this means is, as the lava becomes solid lava, the elements that make up what it is, they are grabbing onto the other elements around them to create bonds and build solid structure. Except when it happens too fast, like this, the elements don't have time to build anything very complicated, like a crystal. All they have time to do is just grab to whatever happens to be next to them and become a solid. So they grab to whatever's most readily available, whatever's the most abundant, and whatever the lava is mostly made of. That's something called silica. Silica is 47% of this lava, so half of it is just silica. When everything bonds to silica, then everything in the end is going to look like that silica. Silica would be the main ingredient we use to make regular glass. That's how we get the volcanic glass instead. So fast cooled lava, no crystals, but everything bonds to silica. You'll notice though it's not clear, it is black in color. It's because there's other stuff in lava too. It's the iron in it. Causes it to be black instead of it being a true clear. Right, do I have any questions so far? Feel free to ask.